So I'm here to tell you a bit about how the region works with its climate strategy. And basically you can say that the climate strategy of the region of southern Denmark has two strings. First of all, it's the strategy of sustainable development. But it actually also includes corporate social responsibility, a CSR strategy, and it includes work with health and the environment. According to the national law here in Denmark, the regions and municipalities have to set up strategies for sustainable development. And of course, that's the part of the strategy that I will talk a bit about today. The climate strategy is incorporated in our overall regional development plan, together with subjects like infrastructure, education, and culture. So it's a part of an overall development plan. And of course, the strategy has an overall target of a 40% reduction of CO2 in 2020, which is why we say, how is it that the region works with achieving the national climate goals? The target can be divided into two, which I've tried to show up here. First of all, it's about the geographical area of the region, which you see marked with red on the map over there. And obviously, to succeed in that, it's important that we work together with the municipalities, with companies, other stakeholders that can help the region as a geographical area achieve this reduction. At the same time, we also work with this reduction as a part of the region as a company. So it's an internal thing where we say that the region has to reduce its own consumption of energy, for example, in hospitals, with the same 40%. So those are the two parts of this reduction strategy. And if we start by focusing on the internal part, then we have to figure out how can we in the region as a company succeed with this reduction. And for one thing, the region has actually put solar cells on the rooftop of all our hospital and buildings. You can see here, this is the example from our administration in Vejle, but if you go and visit our parking lots and hospitals, you can also see those. And the panels that were put up, they produce electricity at an amount of 3,150 megawatt hours. And this corresponds to 3.5% of the consumption of the hospitals. Or if we measure it in ordinary households, it would be 1,050 households, the consumption of those. Other things we work with is intelligent procurement. As a major company, so to say, that run hospitals, for example, we buy different stuff worth 7 billion Danish kroner every year, or around 1 billion euros. And of course, we have to think sustainability when we do procurement as well. We call that intelligent procurement. Then we build a whole lot of new hospitals in our region, actually worth 10 billion Danish kroner over the next 10 years or so. And here we try to build ambitiously. We want to use ambitious standards for construction, which will, in a way, you could also say be an advantage for the construction companies in charge, because they will get experience in building according to the new standards, and hopefully we will reduce our energy consumption and also save money on that as a further effect. Asking for new and sustainable solutions will encourage companies to develop them, and it will also give the companies in our region an opportunity to demonstrate new solutions. And hopefully someone else but us will buy it afterwards, so you can see it from a regional growth perspective as well. Another example of how we work with reductions, this is seen from the point of view of the geographical area of the region of southern Denmark. And as I said before, being successful in this area requires that we work together with others. We can't achieve that by ourselves. So we've made a project together with 14 of the municipalities in the region, all over the region. We call that project Energy Program Southern Denmark. It runs from 2014 to 2017, and it has support from the European Investment Bank and their ELENA initiative. And together with these 14 municipalities, we renovate public buildings for an amount of around 600 million Danish kroners in this 3-year period. That will have major benefits. First of all, it will generate jobs, which we are of course happy about, but it will also reduce the CO2 emission in the region of southern Denmark by 16,000 tons per year. Another example of what we've been working with, we've been looking at the energy system. How is energy produced? How is it distributed? And how does the consumption throughout the region work? And we've been leading a project called Strategic Energy Planning in Southern Denmark. Again, it's a cooperation with the municipalities, and here also the energy supplying companies has been a part, together with relevant companies and businesses. The result in this first round has been that we've increased the knowledge among all the partners in the project when it comes to energy production, distribution, and consumption. And then we've talked about how could future development be. We have elaborated on scenarios for future developments and potentials for commercial development as well. But that's not enough. It could be even more ambitious. So we are having a dialogue with the partners in this project on ways to continue the work, take it to a new level. And then it's important for me to say that when we talk about sustainable development, it's not enough for us to talk about the benefits of the reductions in the CO2 emissions, for example. It's important that the initiatives of our climate strategy can be seen in close connection with the region's business development strategy. And you can see the strategy actually presented in just one picture here. What's simple is good, we say. Here one of the things we're working with, as you can see all the way, the green one is sustainable energy. It's a separate focus area for the business development strategy of the region. And the companies working with energy efficient technologies in our region have a very strong position on the global market. There's more than 10,000 people employed in this region that works in this sector. And that's also why the Regional Growth Forum, which is a forum that consists of members of the region, members of the municipalities, companies, unions, labor agreements, and so on, they're all universities and other kinds of educational institutions. They're all represented in the Growth Forum. And this Growth Forum has funded projects that relates to sustainable energy by around 25 million euros since 2009. The funding has very specifically been allocated to projects where we develop energy efficient technologies and systems. And also they've been aiming at developing competencies and skills within the area of sustainable energy. Basically, you could say that the idea is that this will help us reach the goals of our climate strategy, but at the same time, which we're very happy about, it will help achieve growth and development in our region in general. Because if the businesses do well on this, then our region will also do well on this. And that's the idea of the focus of sustainable development. When we work in the Regional Growth Forum and the region of Southern Denmark with this new strategy that should go from 2016 to 2020, then we kept sustainable energy or sustainable development as a major focus area. And the picture you see here demonstrates the way we see the growth model. And we say that when you want to create growth, it's important that you have access to financing, you have access to demand. Someone should want to buy your product, or not. Not anymore. Someone should want to buy your product. That's one called demand. There should be a supply of the relevant products. That's the supply side. And then if we can gain access to research and development as well, and education that's relevant for these areas, then it will be even better. And in this case, you could argue that the part that's called demand is where we actually, besides from supporting the growth in sustainable businesses, or businesses working with sustainable energy, then if we can stimulate demand, because we got a demand for better solutions that can help us reduce CO2 emissions and reach our goals within the climate strategy, then I think you could say that these areas link very beautifully. So the climate strategy is actually also a facilitator of demand when it comes to the work with sustainable energy. This strategy that I've just been talking about, it's, as I said, it's supposed to go from 2016 to 2020. And now, just before it's all done, we'll say that now we need to figure out how can we carry it out in the real life. And here we invite all partners, private companies, public authorities, universities, organizations, citizens, and so on to participate and give ideas to how can we make this strategy work out in the real world. And that's why we hope that everyone will contribute. Yes. I think that was what I'm going to say about the region's work with the climate strategy and also the link to our business development strategy.